Okay, so we are now recording and I will start with this very short presentation. Please interrupt me whenever you feel it. I will also shut down my video so that you can see only my presentation. As small agenda of this presentation, I will give you some information about the selection process, but also the roles needed for each session. The session is not an individual work. We have to work in group, and work groups have to be very diverse, and I will explain you how. I will also explain you the repository and the template, but also the use that we have for this repository, and then we delve into the workshop. So about the selection process, for those of you who didn't attend the introductory section, we explain a little bit the roles needed for each section, and the role as first and foremost the organizers. They can be minimum two, 4, but also 5, depending on the roles needed, but also the people who actually worked to shape each session. The organizers are the group of persons responsible for the workshop. They manage the content, speakers, and planning of the session, and that includes the proposer, as you can see here. And with regard to the proposer, usually newcomers are most favored to submit the proposal. So if you have never submitted proposal, I welcome you to come up with a topic, and we will help you draft it, but you are very welcome to take on the leading role in these regards. But also organizers are the moderators, and the rapporteurs are also listed as organizing team. And one thing I would like you to remember, that as organizers, the composition of organizer has been as diverse as possible, and that means that preferably it shouldn't include organizers from the same region. We would like to have organizer teams, grouping together members from various geographical area. So I wouldn't advise to have, like, for example, 2 people from Africa or 3 people from Asia Pacific, but to have like 1 person from Europe, 1 person from South America, 1 person from Africa, 1 person from Asia Pacific. Also keeping into consideration the stakeholder group that you might represent. And one other thing is the organizers have to be registered in the IGF community system. And when you do that, please indicate that you are part of the youth community and list yourself as a reference person. Because if you list yourself as a reference person, there is a high chance that you can be contacted by the other organizers of other session, maybe senior organizers, that maybe wants like youth voices in their session, and they may reach you out. So please, list you as a reference person. About the proposer usually receives and handles all the communication from and to the team and the IGF secretariat. So it's the person who actually fill in the form, receive the communication about the assessments or that specific proposal, and also it handles the liaison with us with the Youth Standing Group and the YCIG coordinators. It uploads the report. And one thing I want to ask you, if you want to be a proposer, please be always reachable. It's very important that you are the focus points of your session, and you will be expected to answer all of our questions, but also the speakers' questions, and you are the leader of your session. So please be aware that if you are a proposer, you should be always reachable. The moderators, you will need 2 moderators, one on site and one online. One thing that I wanted to say, if you are an online moderator, you can be on site, but you have to have like a laptop or a device, because you have to facilitate speakers and participants online. And that include read comment and take question coming through the chat, and then asking them out loud during the session. It doesn't to be an online moderation doesn't entail that you have to be you have to be located remotely. You can be on site, but you have to have access to a device. So please bear in mind this aspect. Secondly, if you list yourself as an on-site moderator, you have to be absolutely sure that you will be able, that you have the funding to travel to Kyoto. Don't list yourself as an on-site moderator if you are unsure if you will get any funds, or if you are going to be actually on-site, because it would be a little messy. Well, in any case, we will always adjust things like later on in the second phase. I will explain you that, but please be absolutely sure that you will be able to travel during the IGF. The rapporteur is only one person. He or she summarizes the main takeaways at the end of the session. So you have to attend the session, and right after the end of the session, you have to upload, to send to the proposer the main key takeaway, and the proposer has to upload in the IGF page of your session. And after the end of the IGF, usually by 2 weeks by the end of the IGF, the rapporteurs has to submit the full report of like a sort of minute of the session. About the speakers, of course, the rapporteurs can be on site or online. It doesn't matter. The speakers, the IGF advise against having more than 4 speakers. So please have like between 2 and 4 speakers. That would be ideal. And also in the speakers composition has to reflect the diversity of the multi-stakeholder community. And that means that you have to have speakers from 2 different geographical area. They have to represent different stakeholder groups, and please also have like diversity in gender. It's very, very important. One other thing that I would like to ask about diversity of speakers is also that diversity could also be age diversity. So if you have a lot of youth, it's okay. But if you invite senior stakeholders, that would be also better, because intergenerational conversation dialogue is well received by the IGF and the MAC members. The selection process, as you know, the deadline to submit your proposal is on May 19. And after the submission would be the first phase of assessment. The assessment is carried out by the IGF. It's based on like a form. If the topic that you choose is actually fall within one of the thematic tracks. The second, if you pass this phase, your session will be assessed by the MAC members. The MAC members carried out a substantial assessment. They see if your topic is relevant for the global discussion. They also see if your organizing team and the composition of speakers are diverse. But also they keep into consideration how you handle the hybrid formats. So how you balance on-site and online speakers and attendees, and how you facilitate the interaction between attendees and speakers on-site and online. And the option, if you pass this phase, there is also your session is will be included in the final program of the IGF. So you can take a breath there. Then your session is accepted and will be held. It will be hosted during the IGF. There is an optional phase after this, in case some of you knows that some of you has listed themselves as an on-site moderator. You realize that you won't be able to travel to Kyoto. Then this phase in the ex post, I would say, selection phase, you can actually change the roles of the moderators, rapporteurs, and the speakers. You can make this small adjustment. The only thing that you cannot do is to change topic or format. So if you go for a workshop or like a roundtable, you cannot do another type of format. And of course, if you submit, if your session is about gender inclusion, it can be about IoT, for example. A few recommendation. Yes, I know that there are a few questions and hand raised. Please let me go through the recommendation and rules, and then I will open the floor to the questions. A few recommendation and rules. Please do not take different roles because to take different, do not put yourself out too much on various sessions, because if all of the session you have put yourself into are accepted during the IGF, some of them may overlap, and you won't be able to carry out the commitment that you previously took on. So be responsible on this. Because the roles that you take on entail a substantial amount of time before, during, and after the IGF. During the IGF, you might need to take time, hours, or days off. So you have to actually attend the conference, and that also. That is also the case when you attend virtually. So please be responsible in this sense. Do not take roles like a moderator and rapporteurs in session you have not contributed to. It is not fair to those who committed their time in shaping and drafting the proposal or reaching out to speakers. So you just take the role in the session you contributed to. Another recommendation is do not take moderators and rapporteurs' role if you won't be able to carry out the task. You know that Japan has a time zone GMT +9. And in some of your in your area, if you won't be able to travel to the IGF in Japan, you will have to attend virtually, like remotely, and in your time zone might be like the heart of the night. And if you took the moderator's or rapporteur's role, you have to wake up in the middle of the night and attend the session. So be aware of that. You might need, as I said, you might need to take hours of day off during the IGF, because it's not only a matter of, that hour. The workshop only lasts 1 hour, but you have also all the preparation that precedes the session, and then coordinates with the speakers, just sending them, the moderator's guides, all the questions, prepare the minute, prepare the template, prepare the question in case the audience doesn't ask any, and there are a lot of work behind the session. And in case we don't make you guilty if something last minute comes up. The important is that you also have a person, like agree with a person, like another teammate who can take your role in case of emergency. So please be aware of this and be responsible in that sense, and be also respectful of the time committed by your teammates, the organizer and the coordinators. In this case, if the coordinator will see that there are uncooperative and unreliable participants, you will not be included in the proposal, or you might be removed in due course, like afterward. So now is the time for questions. Yes, Nicholas.
Yes, hello everybody. Nicolas from the Youth Coalition on Internet Governance Steering Committee for the Latin American Caribbean region. I have two comments or suggestions. Veronica already mentioned about it, but one thing is to include in the description of the session how will be the way you will manage the hybrid format. So you need to clarify and detail, like for example, we will give the floor first to the on-site people at the room, and then we will go with one people from the chat or from the raised hand in Zoom, and you need to detail how you will deal with the hybrid format to have equal foot for the on-site and the online participant. That is extremely important for you to clarify on the session proposal, so for you to have more chances on addressing this in a good manner, and to be very well seen from the MAG and the Secretariat in order to select your session. The other thing to remember is about selecting the corresponding sustainable development goals that are related to your session. It's not like, because you will have a list of all the sustainable development goals and the subtopics or sub relations of each of the sustainable development goal, and it's not like picking randomly. You will need to be very aware when planning your session about which sustainable development goals are really related with your session. That for me is really important, and it's something that they take a look inside. And just the last recommendation is or two last recommendations. One is, yes, please take into account that Kyoto time is UTC +9. So for the majority of people outside Asia Pacific, will be in the middle of the night, as Veronica says. So be attentive if you are going to be an online moderator or a speaker that will speak remotely. Be aware that you will need to wake up in the middle of the night to do the session, because if not, it will be very frowned upon for the rest of the team in the session. And the last recommendation is to plan at least one speaker and one moderator at least to be on site because it's frowned upon if only the moderator is in the table, then on site, and all the speakers and the rest are like online. We suggest like at least 2 people to be on site to have some coherence, because if not, you can do it totally virtually, but it's not like people will not go to the room, or you cannot do like advertisement on site for your session. So yes, these are maybe a good tip for you to know. And it have happened that, for example, you are waiting for the call for travel to go to Kyoto, and you have some uncertainties. It's good for you to have at least 2 different alternatives to go, or plan to cost by yourself if you are really proposing as an on-site moderator. So take that into account. But sometimes it will be good, for example, if the on-site moderator and the online moderator are waiting for the funding, and for example, the on-site moderator don't get it and the online is going to get it, so you can interchange the roles. So maybe the on-site can be the online and the online to be on-site. That is our suggestion, because that happened in the past, and it's a good backup to have the online moderator as the on-site moderator in that scenario. I think that those are my suggestions. Thank you for your time, and good luck.
Thanks a lot, Nicolas. They were very good suggestion, and please take Nicolas' word for it, because he's a veteran of the IGF. He has always attended on site and has been very active speakers, moderator, rapporteurs in many sessions. So take his word for it. And I would like to also thanks Mohammed, because I saw that there are 2 questions about how to register on the IGF platform. You can do that today, but maybe you can do that also later on. But he has posted in the chat the link to the IGF and the registration to the registration of the platform. I saw that there is another question from Maria Lipinska. If you can have examples of a previous year accepted like successful proposal, the answer is yes. Your coordinators are all people who have submitted proposals last year or were part of successful workshop, like successful proposal, and you can ask your coordinator to share one of their proposals of last year. Another question about the registration. Another question is about a session be held online. No, all the session will be hybrid. So you can attend online, but your session has to be designed as hybrid. So you have to be sure that you have to have moderators attending on site, but also speakers attending on site. I can share with you an example of last year, one of our unsuccessful proposal. Our proposal was rejected because the majority of the speakers were attending online, and we couldn't, ensure the balance for the hybrid formats. So be sure that is it better? Is it fairer to have more speaker on site than online? But if you have more online, it would be unbalanced, and your session might be excluded. Others question, will be the speakers and moderator who are able to attend in Japan cost for traveling and all? No, you have to provide for yourself in theory. The IGF will open a call for travel support, but from my experience, it's very, very difficult to get the funding, because you have to show that you have a long-standing commitment in the IGF. So you have to have attended the IGF like in the previous 2 or 3 years, and have to have like important roles, like you have to have been a moderator, speaker, or rapporteur or organizer in previous session, or you have to be, I don't know, a part member of one of the coalition on internet governance, or part of the working groups. So it's very difficult. And also one thing that I would like to ask, the travel support is not open for people from developed country, like from Europe and North America. Other question. But the speaker have to cover travel costs. Yes, as I said, you should be able to, speakers and also organizers should be able to provide funding for themselves or apply for grants. There are some organizations that actually provide grants to support the travels. But that is something that you should do like on your own. Like we might provide you with the list of organizations, but the IGF doesn't provide any support on that. So let's go to the repository. I will share the link to the repository later on. But I would like to just quickly outline why why the Youth Coalition on Internet Governance and the Youth Standing Group, we decided to have a repository. The repository for us is important because we can keep track of all your proposal. And if you need help, like if one of the proposal like successfully submit yours, we can work on those proposals who are still you know in their rough or draft states. So we can jump on, help each other and jump on your session and help you, to submit your proposal. If you are here, it means that you want to be one of the organizers. Maybe also a proposer. If you are a proposer, you have also the responsibility to fill in this repository. So I will quickly explain you how this repository is, the layout. So you see the first column. You can put there the link to your session proposal. I created for you a template. You will make a copy of that template and then put the link to your copy, so your session, in this document. So we can have we can work on your session if you need to. Then you have to update the status. You can see under development, dropped, if you haven't found any other co-organizer, if you have submitted, if you have been selected or not selected. And then you have the thematic track. You know that there are 8 thematic tracks, and then the responsibles. The responsible here are the proposer, but also you have to list the speakers. The speaker 1, 2, 3, the moderators and the rapporteurs. You have to, fill in this repository, and you have if you are a proposer, you are the responsible to fill in this repository. One thing about the speaker has to be also registered on the IGF platform, exactly like the organizers. So you have to do the speaker outreach before the submission, how to reach out to them and say, we have this session proposal. Would you be available to be speaker in our session? He has to say yes. And you have to ask him the permission to put his email, his or her or their email in the IGF platform. So it's not an easy task to be an organizer, because you also have to take care of registering the speakers on the platform if they haven't already. Okay, about the template, very quickly, the template, I prepare, as I said, a draft for you of the template. I copy pasted the template of the IGF. You cannot access the template if you are not registered on the platform. So I did that for you. So I created a document for you, and you can do a copy of that draft that I made. And what you will see is that the template contain 12 session. The detail, they ask for the detail of the proposers, the organizers, and the speakers. More information about the sub-theme or your proposal, and the proposal information then means the description, what the audience will take from your session, how you will ensure the implementation of the hybrid format, the relation has as Nicolas said, the relation with the HCG, etc., etc. I will not explain anything further. I just want to say that I will give you the links to the repository and the template so that we can have like this 40 minutes to start drafting. If you have a proposal, we can have a hands-on, on your drafts. Give me just a moment. I know that there are a lot of questions. I saw a lot of question in the chat, but I believe that many of them have been already answered. But if you have any unanswered question for me, please ask. Yes, Nicolas, I'm posting in the chat. I'm posting in the chat the link to the repository and to the draft document. So I will also open the draft document for you to so we can start working together. If you are here, please access the draft document, the template, the second link, make your own copy, and we can start drafting ourselves. Like one of the things maybe important is the policy questions. Nicolas?
Yes, just to highlight on that everyone that will have a role need to be registered at the indgovforum.org website as with a user. You can go to log in and then register yourself with your email. And then you will need to be registered to the annual Internet Governance Forum when available. That is crucial. If you are not sure you will be going on site, you just mark online participants. That is for free, as you know. And then you need to be listed as a resource person. This is optional, but it's recommended for the other organizers of the session to find you in the system when they are putting the names of the people in the roles. So that is crucial. It's optional because you can put the email if the person is in the system, but it's a good way to find the person more rapidly at the moment. And just the other comment I had is that if you have the strange case of having many of your sessions selected, please be sure to check collisions in advance. There is 2 or 3 months before the IGF, or maybe 2 months before the IGF, there is a first draft schedule of the meeting. So everyone need to check by themselves, like going into the draft, checking if your sessions that are selected are colliding in the same time slot. And if that happens, you will need to write the secretariat to correct the situation. So that is just recommendations. Thank you.
Veronica, sorry, you're muted.
Oops, sorry. I wanted to, yes, thanks, Mohammed. For Internet Society Zambia, he asked for, or she asked for the template. One thing I would like to ask, I know that I see a lot of people on this draft. I would like to stress, please do not work on this template, because this template is to the benefit of everybody. So please make your own copy. And also, can you see the repository here? You can, okay, the repository. Please put the link to the repository to your draft here, and also update, put your name, the responsibles, and also under development, because this is the phase that we are in now. And so we can have an overview of the status of your work. And yes, we will share the link in, okay, I shared the links to the template and the repository with the coordinators, and the coordinators will share in their working groups and Telegram working groups. James, do you have a question?